Today I'm going to Goodwood. I'm going to be taking my Koenigsegg Jesko. Goodwood Manor has a racetrack around it, and it's become one of the most iconic automotive circuits in the UK. Today we're going out, spending the evening there, and tomorrow morning is a Goodwood breakfast meet where Goodwood members have breakfast together. I'm taking my Jesko, and my sister's following in the Huracan. I go to Goodwood for the Festival of Speed and Revival every year, but this is my first time going for one of their breakfast meets. We're taking the roof off the Jesko attack. On most cars, it's just a process of taking off some clips. On this car, it's 5 individual Allen screws you've got to unscrew, so it's a bit of a process, but I guess easy comparison to a Ferrari F50, which takes 2 hours to do. I love hypercars. I own a few. I'm actually building my own. The project's called the Naran. Everything I learn from other brands, I'm trying to perfect and find better ways of doing it for myself with the Naran. I got this car a few years ago. It was the first Koenigsegg Jesko delivered to the UK. Generally, to buy a Koenigsegg brand new, you have to have a relationship with the brand, and bought several cars over the years. I have a good relationship with Ameerh, the Koenigsegg dealer in Munich. They offered me the car and said I would have the first delivery in the UK, and naturally it was an opportunity I could miss. We're doing a rally called Luso at the moment, which is run by some very young guys here in London. They managed to get an incredible selection of cars. I mean, looking around, there's so many special cars. One of my favorites today is the McLaren P1 LM, which was a special project together with Lanzante, where they developed a road legal P1 GTR.
Yeah, it's essentially like the ultimate P1, done in 2016-17, created 5 customer road cars. This one here is the prototype, which did all the testing for the program. The most powerful, lightest P1, kind of esque to the F1 LM, wanted to complete the set. So the LM's got a bespoke engine. It was an engine program carried out for the LM, done by Ricardo. Obviously also a bespoke aero package. There are 4 customer cars in orange. There's one in this Wayno grey, which is a nod to the F1 GTR 1R, which won Le Mans 95. It's an incredible car, very usable in fact, regardless of the roads. We drove down here to Premier GT on some country B roads, and it was fantastic.
We're meant to leave at 8:30, but we thought we'd be brave and power as fast as we could along, so left at 10:30. Not a good idea because we've missed lunch, but they very kindly offered to make us lunch now. So we're going to eat very quickly and then try and catch up with everyone again. Today I've come out with one of my closest friends, Benjamin. We've been friends for nearly 10 years. In addition to being friends, he also curates people's car collections. He's done mine and many other people's car collections, and owns a car service center which services a lot of the best cars in the UK, from Veyrons to F40s to Dodge Vipers, virtually everything. How'd you guys meet?
We were at a Sotheby's car auction, Ameerh said, like 10 years ago. Neither of us bought anything that day. I was there before like another client, and Ameerh was there shopping. Once we met each other, we just were like, should we just go for a drive instead? And we ended up like driving to Chiltern Firehouse later that night, and we just ended up becoming like homies from that day. It
wasn't a very far drive to Chiltern Firehouse, but
it was fast. We got there before everyone else.
I was driving an Aston Martin Vanquish, which was the first supercar I ever bought, and Benjamin was in a Bentley Continental.
Yeah, I had a GT. Back in the day, we were a bit younger, a bit more reckless. Now
How old were you? 21?
21, yeah. Now we got serious cars. We've had some crazy stories. It's been like, I'll get a call from Ameerh at like 4 o'clock in the morning. It'd be like, yeah, I've just dropped the keys to my Lamborghini SVJ between the front bumper and the front trunk, and I'm like, oh my god, Ameerh, I'm like, I just gone to bed.
It was literally 4 a.m. A friend in need is a friend indeed. He was there 4 a.m.
I had this magnet on a stick that I've always wanted to like use perfectly. I knew exactly where it was, so I just went and turned up, and he was like, how are we gonna get it off? We're gonna have to take the front bumper off. And I just like pull out this like really long magnet stick, and I was like, fish it out. It was perfect. It saved the day. We've always been there for each other.
So now we're great with timekeeping. Clearly, we've arrived here as everyone left. We managed to get their street food truck to reopen, make us food, and now we've got to put our foot down and catch up with everyone. It's always the best part.
I don't think that will be an issue for you, Ameerh.
I don't think so either.
In the words of the shepherd, let's get the flock out of here. good, it was good. We were testing out the new AI driving app. English country roads aren't the best for wide, modern supercars, you know. But we made it, we made it. A little bit of mud, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of grass.
How was it sitting with Ameerh?
Terrifying. But you know what, he's getting better at scaring the shit out of me constantly. The problem is he keeps buying faster cars. So as much as his driving improves, the cars are getting faster, so it becomes like exponentially scarier.
The roads around here are lovely, like it's so beautiful. There's a new AI app that these guys have set up, which is supposed to avoid highways, narrow roads, bumps, and took us through every pothole infested road. I think there's a bit of tuning there for AI, but apart from that, it's been great.
Hey Ameerh, should we check out some of the other rides here?
Yeah, let's see what else is out here. Do you like Valkyries?
Yeah, I do. They're a little shoulder to shoulder though.
I went in one recently in Paul Ricard, a friend's car. The people I know that have Valkyries have a lot of other cars and they say it's the best car they have. So I think everything is so much personal opinion, but it's just for me personally, if I want a race car on a track, I'll take a proper racing car, which will always do better than a road car. And then if you want a car on the road, you want something that feels good on the road and still feels like a quality product. And that's what this lacks. It doesn't feel like a quality product. LaFerrari feels like a quality product. Carrera GT is built like a tank. That thing is amazing. Bugattis. When you look at what this is competing against, it just doesn't have the refinement, which is surprising considering it's an Aston Martin product. And Aston Martin products generally are refined machines.
I agree with you. I mean, like at the top end, it's so subjective. There's so many different offerings from manufacturers now. Every kind of fast car you can imagine exists. It's like, pick your poison.
Yeah, for a lot of people this is what they want because they really feel like they're driving a Formula 1 car on the road.
Should we see what else there is?
Yeah.
Senna's, we like those, but I wouldn't want to own one out of warranty.
Same can be said for a lot of cars.
A lot of these cars here I wouldn't want to own out of warranty. There's a few that I would, but definitely anything from McLaren, you have to be careful with what you buy.
It's growing on me though. When I first came out, I didn't like it at all. The more I see it.
When the Senna came out, it was very pioneering, like with the gooseneck spoiler, the huge wing, the crazy aero. But now when you like look around, it kind of fits into the car park, and it's one of the older cars here.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, these 812 Competizioni they're a great car. The blue carbon, everything. I think this is going to be a very special car one day.
I love this car.
The best angle in this is the back.
Testarossa events.
Yeah.
How much are these?
Well, they were about 4 million. Now, what, 7?
Really?
7, 8, yeah.
They've caught up to LaFerraris.
Completely.
It's the same chassis as a LaFerrari without the hybrid system, which sounds pretty perfect. I think this is probably the best modern day Ferrari made, alongside the LaFerrari.
Would you buy one?
If I could get one at list price when it came out, absolutely. I think it's an amazing car. In my eyes, it's not worth what they sell for now.
Don't hold me to that price, though.
If Benjamin's right about the price, then no. If he's wrong, then yes.
So at what price point would you buy this?
I'd spend 3.5. At the end of the day, it's what really, really excites you. In my mind, I always think, okay, if I'm spending this much money on a car, what else can I get for the same amount of money? And what do I think that car would be worth, say 10 years from now? Although I don't buy my cars to resell, I like to know that I've made a sound investment and my money's safe in that vehicle. And this is where you worry buying cars like McLarens because they're known to depreciate.
What are you getting next?
Well, I have a Utopia on order, which will arrive in October, which I've spec'd. And there's something very special coming from Porsche that's confidential at the moment.
So you're saying Porsche are releasing a new hypercar and you're buying one?
Let's have a look at the Project One. This is very cool. It's got an actual Formula 1 engine.
Yeah, it's a very nerdy car.
You buy it because it's got a Formula 1 engine, all this technology, but it's not actually fast because it's got a V6, which they use in Formula 1 cars, but a Formula 1 car weighs nothing, and this is a road car, so it weighs a lot with not that much power. CGT, we've seen a lot of. I have one.
I'm not sure about these. I think terrible investment. The people who own them are just kind of...
I made a video which you guys filmed as one of my first videos a year ago, and I said these cars will one day be worth 10 million. And in the comments, everyone said I was talking rubbish, impossible, blah, blah. Last month, one went for auction, 9.4 million. I have two other cars, which I'll give you tips. One, I'm waiting for the purchase to go through. Once that's gone through, I will tell you, which is going to be a $25 million car. And Mercedes McLaren SLR, that car is a $2 million car in 5 years. What is this, Sian?
Is it? I can't keep up
They
with
do
these.
so many
I
of
can't
these
keep up
things.
with all these new models.
So Sian, what's special about the Sian?
Nothing.
Is it was the, there we go, nothing. No, but it was the first car to use a supercapacitor. It's very small, it holds charge for a short period of time, but it's very light and small. It charges through regenerative braking, so whenever you brake, it charges full, and when you put your foot flat, it uses a torque full, so you get an extra boost of power. So it's technically a hybrid, but not using a battery, using a very light little supercapacitor, which is cool. I like innovation and technology, which is rare for Lamborghini when they do special editions, because normally they put a body kit on a bog standard Aventador or Murcielago, whatever the V12 is and sell it for multiples of what the normal car is. But with this car, they actually did something different. 918, they're ridiculously fast, well built, but also Porsche, so not so much personality.
The Martini spec is pretty gangster, especially if it's like a factory Martini one. The Martini livery was like a very expensive option. I think it was only on Weissach ones you could get it. Weissach pack was a lightweight pack that you got different wheels, bits of aero on the back. You can tell, so this has got the Weissach pack as well. Get these extra fins on the back.
Porsche have made 4 hypercars. 959, which was to compete with the F40. Carrera GT, which was to compete with the Enzo. 918, which was to compete with the LaFerrari. And we'll see what comes next. Every 10 years, 3 brands happen to come out with hypercars. It's always the holy trinity of that generation. And the holy trinity of this generation was LaFerrari, 918, and P1. The previous generation was Carrera GT, SLR, Enzo. The current holy trinity isn't really a trinity. There's only 2 of them. You've got a LaFerrari and McLaren W1.
Is the F80 a replacement of LaFerrari?
It is. Officially, it's their replacement.
Officially, yeah.
Before, you didn't really have the hypercar manufacturers in the mix. It used to be regular manufacturers producing very special cars, which was the holy trinity. But now Paganis, Koenigsegg, Bugattis are so much more desirable that the holy trinity doesn't really count anymore. Next up, Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse, which is the ultimate Veyron. If you were to buy a Bugatti, this would be the one to buy, because the most iconic of all the Bugattis was the Veyron. It was a revolution after the McLaren F1, which was the ultimate car at the time, and this was the ultimate iteration of the Veyron. When you think Bugatti, I think the first car that comes to most people's mind is Veyron, not Chiron, not Tourbillon, because it was such a big step up from anything else that was produced. For me, I think this is still the Bugatti to own. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Every single car you see around us here wouldn't be here in the way it is now if it wasn't for this car. It set the new standard. It broke every limit. It set every new rule. It just kind of rewrote what it meant to have a crazy fast car that you could take to the shop.
Yeah. Do you remember when this came out?
I remember it very well. I was in Zimbabwe and so excited. News like this would have me jumping for joy as a teenager. Honestly, as a car enthusiast, this was a very, very special moment, this car being released.
Will you ever buy one?
I would like to buy a Veyron, for sure. And when I do buy a Veyron, it will be a Grand Sport Vitesse like this. So this is your original, the first Veyron which came out.
Different headlights. It's got more modern LED headlights with DRLs.
I mean, just looking at the two, that does look a lot more fresh. Like, you see the facelift.
100%. Even on the interior as well, there's a lot of details that are better.
Yeah, this is a Koenigsegg Agera RS. It's a very cool car as well. I've been in an Agera, but I haven't driven one. They're cool cars. The older Koenigsegg's were all very agricultural. They were not very sophisticated to drive. It was almost like driving a lorry with a big engine. But I haven't driven the Agera, but from friends I have that have Ageras, they say it's incredible to drive. It handles really well, really fast, very visceral car to drive. So this is a Valhalla. This is Aston Martin's baby Valkyrie. When it comes to value for money, this is incredible. This is like an 800 grand car.
It's a far more finished product and like complete product than the Valkyrie. But then again, it serves a completely different purpose.
It looks like a $1 million hypercar.
Yeah, it looks like a $1 million car.
Is this a hypercar?
I wouldn't consider it a hypercar, would you?
It's a super duper car. I'm not sure if it's a hypercar.
Super duper car. This is a very special car.
This is special. Jaguar XJR15. This is a road legal, proper Group C Le Mans race car. So this is from an era of motorsport that doesn't exist anymore. This is another very pioneering car in every way, even with its like Rover taillights. Pure gangster.
Tom Wilkinshaw, who built this car, he used to take Jaguars, modify them into being racing cars, and run racing cars.
They ran basically all the racing teams for Jaguar, so they were completely instrumental in the development of this car and then its successor being the XJ220.
How much does this go for, this one?
Oof. They're in their millions now. It's a very specialist car to own, so you need like really top people around you to own and operate this. Unlike a lot of these other cars here, this is a proper Group C through and through race car. I mean, just have a look. There's no windows. This has a 6-litre V12. You can actually see it straight through the rear glass here. They only built 52 of these, right, between 1990 and 1992. And essentially, off the back of this and the popularity of this car, Jaguar designed and released the XJ220. The XJ220 was supposed to have the same race-to-ride V12, but in the end ended up with a twin-turbo V6.
Still end up being the fastest car in the world.
Well, this one's been like heavily restored and heavily resto-modded. It definitely didn't look like this when they came from the factory.
It was released 1992, but this one's more special because Tom Wilkinshaw, who we showed that car over there. He took some of the cars. You could take your XJ220 to him, and he tuned it and rebuilt it to be like this, which is a lot more special than the standard XJ220, which is already a very special car.
A very nice yellow LaFerrari.
Very special car to drive. It's one of the most fun cars I've driven. Sound of the screaming V12. The tail is always out. You have to have your wits about you to drive this car. And that's what you want. You want a car that keeps you on your toes. It's a very, very fun experience driving these cars. I like them a lot.
Do you guys collaborate on Ameerh's one?
Yeah, Benjamin finds all my cars for me. Unless I'm buying them new from the factory, I really trust Benjamin. I tell him this is the car I want. Even say my 4x4 squared. I don't even go look at the car. He looks at the car for me, sends me photos and says, I think you should buy it, and I buy it. Because in the past 10 years, nearly every car I've bought, he's found for me, sourced for me. He always negotiates. He hammers down the seller, negotiates down the price, inspects everything. And a lot of times you send the manufacturer service center to go inspect a car and they look at it and they tell you it's okay. Benjamin goes and has a look at it. He literally does a 100-page report and finds so many issues with the car, and he saved me so much money. For instance, there's a car I bought in Switzerland recently. Turns out he saved me about 70 grand worth of servicing by finding issues with the car, which the actual manufacturer couldn't find with the car. The reason I'm so good at aviation and the luxury industry is because I grew up with parents who had me experience this. I've been on the customer side since I was a baby. And similar to Benjamin, I mean, he was chauffeur driven in a Bentley since he was 14. You know, he's always experienced nice cars and nice things. We've always been on the customer side. Like when I'm building my car, the Naran, I've owned all the cars. Like whether my project fails or not, and it will not fail, but even if it did, it doesn't affect my life in a negative way. So I'm not hand to mouth struggling to make it work and cutting corners. I won't sacrifice for it to be the best. And Benjamin also comes from a very privileged background, and he doesn't do it for the money, he does it for the love of doing it. And when you're not doing it as a job, you're doing it because you really feel passionate about it, is when you can do something really, really well. If you weren't earning a cent from what you're doing, would you still do it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what it boils down to. If you're doing what you do every day, and whether you earned a living from it or not, you would still do it, then you put your all into it because you care so much about it. And that's what you get from Benjamin, because he's doing it because he loves cars so much. And that's why he like geeks out on 100 pages looking at a car. One of my favorite cars is the 2004 Ford GT. This is the second generation of that car, which has a V6. It's more technologically advanced, but I think it lost everything that was special about the original Ford GT, which was the fact that it was just big American muscle, a big V8 raw manual gear stick. It was a raw car, and here they've tried to use a whole lot of technological wizardry, which in my eyes just doesn't suit Ford as a brand. I think leave that to the Ferraris of the world and create something with American muscle, which they just didn't do.
They just got it so right on that first one. I mean, that period of time, the mid-early 2000s, wow. So many great special cars came out of it. So many throwbacks to the 60s, the 70s. There were only 3 options you could get on the original Ford GT. Do you know what they are?
What were they?
You could get the metal buttons on the seat, subwoofer, and whether you got the stripe or not.
Finally, what do we have here that we'd like to see? That Senna GTR. So these cars were built as track-only cars from McLaren, and then a few people thought, I want to drive mine on the road. So they took them to, I believe, Lanzante, found loopholes to make this car road legal and put a number plate on it. But going through the process right now to homologate my cars, I have no idea how you could make this pass a crash test, because when these things hit someone's legs, you're breaking their legs off, and pedestrian standards are so strict. I find it amazing that they managed to make it road legal, but it's very cool. I mean, this McLaren P1 LM over here is basically this car, but with an even better base car. Yeah, this is a very, very cool car. I like it a lot. Morning, it's day 2 and we've now come to Goodwood Motor Circuit. We drove up the Goodwood Hill, which was nice. Everyone's congregating here for breakfast. So we've arrived at Goodwood. They're taking a photo of all the cars that have attended. So looking out, you can see all the cars. We got parked right up front.
Pole position.
Pole position. We've taken the photo. Now we're off to breakfast, I hope. We're starving.
All right, show me what this thing can do.
change is the roof being able to come off a lot easier. You're having to manually take it on and off. I think just putting clips on to clip it on and off would be a big improvement and very easy to do. I would have less turbo lag. Tune the turbos differently or electrically spool the turbos.
What's the craziest thing a car spotter has ever done?
The most idiotic thing a car spotter has ever done is I was parked on Mount Street to get a coffee from Marchesi, and one of them jumped in my car to take a photo.
Like in your car?
In my car, sitting in the driver's seat. Unacceptable, terrible behavior. That should not happen. Didn't ask for permission, just the door was open, decided to take liberty.
So where are we now?
We are now going to the main house at Goodwood, or the Goodwood official entrance, where hopefully we will get served breakfast, because I am very, very, very hungry. Should we get a tunnel pull?
Yeah, 100%. Ready? 3, 2. Do you feel like this car has got you the most publicity, or like the
It
most?
has. Yeah, out of all my cars, especially when I first got it and it was shooting flames out the back, which went viral, got me a lot of attention.
But has this car brought you any jet business?
Not directly.
But the 4x4 squared got you a lot.
4x4 squared. I lived it outside Cipriani for a month. Some Kazakh client was eating at Cipriani, came out, started booking flights from us. They booked flights that earned us more than the value of the car.
So where are we now?
We are now at Goodwood. We're driving through the paddock area where all the cars park during the Festival of Speed.
Do you prefer the more private rallies or rallies like this where it's like a lot of...
I like them both. I like the private ones because that's where you tend to make good friends and build relationships. But I like the big public ones because you get to share the experience of owning cars like this with the public, which is great, because there was a time when I didn't have any cars, and this is my only way of experiencing cars like this, and I like to now be able to sort of give back and let people see and enjoy what I've bought.
What happened?
We're doing a software update.
This car updates itself over the air. You got a notification that it's due for an update. So while we're here parked in Goodwood on the circuit, I thought it'd be a good time to do a little software update. We're in the future now, so this is what happens.
In the past, I used to rev the car and it used to shoot flames stationary, and a lot of owners did that. And they felt that was the reason the cars kept breaking down, so they did an update, and then you couldn't rev the car in neutral. People have obviously complained because the car sounded terrible like that. Now you're back to being able to rev it. I think they experiment with different things through the update, but it's great that they can do it over the air.
Is this the sort of feature that you'd want to have in the Naran?
No. The Naran's going to be a proper hardcore analog car. We'll build it up to very high standard when we release the car. This is very cool, TWR XJ220. We spoke about this car yesterday, but seeing it on the move makes it that much more special. There's fans and spectators have come in to see the cars, and this is always the best part of big public events, is you get to share the ownership with people. It wasn't long ago before a spectator didn't own any cars and would come, and this would be, you know, the highlight of my day, getting to see all these lovely cars. So I'm very grateful that I'm now able to share my cars with people and who are in the same position I was once in.
You're the only owner here that will exit the event like that. Everyone else is like 2 miles an hour.
No, it's not often I get to drive my car, so when I drive them, I want to have fun. We've just left Goodwood and now we're heading to a restaurant for lunch. This car is a lot more planted and has so much power. It fulfills the purpose of being a very, very fast car, but it's not as playful. The Pagani has less power, but it's more engaging and playful. You have more sensations with the sound of the intakes. The car slides out a lot more. It has a lot less traction. So they're both wonderful cars. It's just this car, you're driving much faster. It performs a lot better. The Pagani is more fun and playful, but less outright performance. I was just asked whether I prefer driving a Pagani or a Koenigsegg. The answer is I like them both equally.
How is it driving on the UK roads?
The country roads are beautiful in the UK. I really like driving on country roads. I mean, highways are not fun anyway because it's just straight line. Well, they can be fun, but that's of course if you're breaking the speed limits, which I don't do. The best driving roads in the world for me are generally where we have a police escort and we can drive legally very fast, but also there are beautiful roads everywhere. Like, look at this road, it's stunning. In Cape Town, the roads are beautiful. Portugal, Croatia, Sardinia. I've driven on beautiful roads all over the world where it's scenic, the roads are well surfaced, and you can drive really fast. The main factor when it comes to enjoyment is the car you're driving and the company you're with, because I've driven really fun cars with bad company and it's not fun. If you have bad company, a good sound system makes it better, so long as you can turn it on really loud so you can't hear them.
What's the best car you've ever driven?
The best car I've ever driven. If you're only looking at on paper specs, the Koenigsegg Jesko is probably the best car I've ever driven. It's ludicrously fast, really stable, handles very well. I mean, it was the fastest car in the world at one stage. It ticks every box on paper. However, which cars do I enjoy driving the most? I very much enjoy driving this car, but I equally enjoy driving many cars which on paper are not as special, like my Pagani, like my Carrera GT, which don't have the outright power, they don't have the outright speed, they don't have the performance, they don't handle as well. Well, handling is subjective, but they don't have as much grip, mechanical grip. But some of these other cars are more playful, so even at lower speeds, you have no traction and you're sliding. And I've been very lucky in that I own and have driven so many different cars. And you can have fun in most cars, so long as you know how to drive them at the limits. I've driven cars like 1.3 litre Toyota Corolla, which is front wheel drive, but had a lot of fun in it. Just use the handbrakes on gravel wherever you can, and you have the tail out, which is fun. More power generally means more fun, but even if you don't have too much power, you can still have fun with the car.
How comes you stopped investing in people's projects?
Well, for two reasons. I think if someone really wants to make something happen, they will do it without using external investment. When I set up my businesses, I didn't take a cent from anyone. I have never taken a cent from everyone. I've not borrowed money from the bank. I've not taken outside investment for any of my business and projects, and I've made a success of them. When I think about it, I think if someone really believes in what they're doing, they'll figure out a way to make it work without any money. A lot of people who ask for investment want to go from 0 to 100 very quickly. They borrow money to grow this massive company in a short space of time because they're impatient and they can't be bothered to, or don't have the tenacity to keep going and growing from small to big. I was able to do that. If they're unable to do that, it's not something I respect. And also, when you invest in people's projects, you have no control. And I have made very many investments in the past, and the majority of the people have let me down. Even businesses I've invested in and have made me big returns, they haven't followed through with what they promised they would do, and they just happen to have sold the business at a high valuation, but different to what we agreed. If I have extra money, I would much rather put it in my own projects or invest in real estate, which is a safe bet. I can't preach what's right or wrong, because who's to say what I believe is right? However, I'm of the opinion that when you're making a frivolous purchase, which doesn't provide any benefit to you or get you closer to your goals, I would say use a small percentage of your income towards that. The ideal space you want to be in is when you invest your money and from passive income you make frivolous purchases. So invest your money in rent that you've earned. You don't ever want to use earned income on frivolous acquisition. What you ideally want to do is use your earned income to buy assets, and the passive income you get from those assets you can be frivolous with because it's constantly coming and you're not losing your capital. That's the ideal scenario. But on the same token, we only live once. And depending on your risk appetite, everyone's different. I'm very conservative. Live like there's no tomorrow and spend all your money, but there's a chance you might not have money tomorrow when things change. Many of my relationships in business, which have made me a lot of money, have been clients who stayed with me for over 10 years. I could very much have made a lot of money from them on one deal, but making a small amount of money from them over 10 years weighs out to be a lot more. And they introduce people, they speak about you in a positive light so you get more clients. It's a much better strategy. You're only as good as your last deal reputation-wise. So you have to deliver very well on every transaction. If you have staff who are not performing, you need to let them go immediately. You have to be very strict and disciplined, because someone who represents your company, if they perform badly even once, that is the last experience your client has had with that person in your company. They will likely see your business in a negative light and work with someone else and tell their friends about it, and it can ruin your business. Every transaction has to be perfect. Reputation is extremely important in business. We're about to have a quick lunch and then I'm heading back to London. So So that's what it's like being on a rally in the UK. I'm now gonna head back to London. I've got a few meetings to have. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and please leave a comment letting me know what you'd like us to show next.